Can sex, alcohol, or pleasure really calm your mind? Or are they just giving you a short escape from your real pain? For a few minutes, it feels like it works. The drink kicks in, the rush hits, your body loosens, your thoughts slow down, and for a moment, the noise inside your head goes quiet. But then, the feeling fades. The screen turns off. The night gets silent again. And your mind? It comes back louder than before. Every single day, millions of people aren't chasing pleasure. They're chasing peace. They drink not to celebrate. They scroll not for fun. They hook up not for desire. They do it to escape their thoughts. Here's the truth no one prepares you for. Pleasure doesn't calm your mind. It only pauses the pain. Because your restlessness isn't in your body. It's in the thoughts you avoid. The emotions you never processed. The pressure you've been carrying in silence. You can numb the body. You can distract the brain. But you can't heal the mind by running from it. Real calm is quiet. It doesn't come with a rush. It comes when you finally sit with what you've been avoiding and let it release. So the next time your mind feels heavy, don't ask, what can I take to escape this? Ask quietly, what inside me needs to be understood? That's where real peace begins. We run toward physical comfort without even realizing it. Food, grooming, screens, entertainment, sensory pleasure, small escapes spread across the day that we call self-care. For a moment, it feels soothing. Good food warms you, a fresh haircut boosts you, a new outfit gives confidence, a favorite show quiets the mind for a while. But quietly, something else begins to happen. You start caring a little too much about how you look, about how you're perceived, about likes, attention, approval. And slowly, comfort turns into pressure. In America, this trap is everywhere. Look better, be sharper, stay entertained, stay distracted. But beneath all of that, people are more anxious than ever. You can be well-dressed, well-fed, well-entertained, and still feel deeply unsettled inside. Because physical pleasure works only on the surface. It soothes the senses, but it never touches the root of the unrest. It's like putting perfume on a wound. It smells better for a moment, but the wound is still open. You can scroll for hours, you can binge, you can chase comfort all day long. Yet, when the room gets quiet at night, the same thoughts return. The same restlessness breathes again. Because the mind doesn't heal through stimulation. It heals through understanding, release, and silence. Physical indulgence can distract you from pain, but it can never dissolve it. And that's the subtle danger, when comfort replaces awareness and distraction replaces healing. Modern science is finally saying what ancient wisdom has whispered for thousands of years. Your body and your mind are not separate. When your body is inactive, when energy has nowhere to go, your mind begins to shake with it. That's why anxiety often feels like electricity trapped inside your chest. That's why restlessness feels like pressure with no exit. Science calls it chemistry, endorphins, dopamine, cortisol. Stress hormones rise, calm chemicals fall. But ancient traditions called it something simpler, blocked energy. Move the body and the mind begins to breathe again. That's why a hard workout can suddenly clear your thoughts. Why a slow walk at night can calm anxiety. Why deep breathing can pull you back from panic. Why yoga feels like silence inside motion. Because when energy finally flows forward, the mind loosens its grip. This is not motivation. This is biology. When you move, your nervous system softens, your breath deepens, your brain tells your body, you are safe. And for the first time in hours, your thoughts slow down. But here's the truth most people miss. Movement is only the first door. You can lift weights every morning, run miles, practice yoga daily, breathe deeply at night, and still feel restless inside. Because movement shifts energy, but it does not rewrite the patterns of the mind. It calms the storm for a while, but it doesn't remove the clouds. If you only exhaust the body without understanding the loops in your thinking, your peace will always depend on effort. And effort-based peace is fragile. True calm doesn't come from tiring yourself out. It comes when the energy moves upward into awareness, when restlessness turns into observation, and observation turns into silence. Movement opens the door, but awareness is what keeps you inside the peace. And until the mind itself is understood, no amount of physical effort can make calm permanent. Mindfulness doesn't ask you to fight your mind. It asks you to see it, not judge it, not silence it. Just watch it. Your thoughts rise and fall like waves on an ocean. Some are gentle, some are violent, some come without warning. Most people try to stop the waves. They distract themselves, they numb themselves, they run. But mindfulness teaches you something radical. You don't have to run from the wave to be safe from it. You only have to stop becoming the wave. When you sit in silence and simply notice your breath, when you watch a thought appear and disappear without chasing it, a small space opens inside you. And in that space, reactivity begins to die. The urge to reach for your phone softens. The impulse to eat just to feel something weakens. The need to escape through pleasure loosens its grip. Because for the first time, you're not being dragged by the mind, you're witnessing it. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your mind rebels. It gets louder. It throws every distraction at you. But if you stay, just 10 minutes a day, sitting, breathing, watching, something quiet but powerful begins to shift. You start catching yourself before old habits take over. You pause where you once reacted. You choose where you once escaped. Slowly, almost invisibly, your brain begins to rewire itself, not towards stimulation, but towards stillness. And one day, you realize something strange and beautiful. You no longer reach for peace outside yourself. You begin to rest inside it. Because joy that comes from distraction is loud, but joy that comes from awareness is deep, and it doesn't leave when the night gets quiet. A meditation is not an escape from life. It is a return to yourself. Unlike pleasure, unlike distraction, meditation doesn't stimulate the mind. It settles it. Slowly, quietly, from the inside out. Science now confirms what mystics always knew. Meditation reshapes the brain itself. Anxiety softens. Sleep deepens. Emotional reactions lose their sharp edges. Your nervous system learns a new language, safety, without stimulation. And that changes everything. Most people think meditation means sitting like a monk in silence for hours. It doesn't. You don't need candles. You don't need mountains. You don't need to be spiritual. All you need is a few minutes and your breath. You sit, you inhale, you exhale. And for the first time all day, you stop trying to become someone else. At first, the mind fights back. Thoughts rush in louder than ever. Restlessness shakes your body. You feel like you're doing it wrong. But that's not failure. That's the mind releasing its grip. Each time you return to the breath, you train your brain to let go of control, to stop chasing, to stop resisting. And slowly, what once felt impossible begins to feel natural. Silence no longer feels empty. It feels safe. Over time, meditation stops being an activity. It becomes a refuge, a place you return to when the world gets heavy, when emotions overwhelm you, when nothing outside seems to work. And one day, something beautiful happens. You realize you no longer need to run from your mind because your mind has learned how to rest. That's not temporary pleasure. That's not a chemical high. That's a permanent shift toward peace. Real calm doesn't come from slowing down alone. It comes when your energy knows where it belongs, when your effort, your attention, your time is tied to something that actually matters to you. Meaningful work, creative expression, helping someone without expecting anything back. This is what ancient traditions called energy moving upward, when your life force stops leaking into temporary pleasures and starts rising toward purpose. You feel it instantly. When your work has meaning, you get tired, but not empty. When your day has purpose, you feel pressure, but not lost. Because purpose gives pain a direction, and direction gives the mind stability. Without meaning, the mind searches for stimulation. With meaning, the mind begins to rest in responsibility. And that's when calm stops being fragile and becomes sustainable. Now, this isn't just philosophy. This is something you can start today. Not someday. Not when life gets easier. Today. Start with movement every day. You don't need a gym. You need motion. A walk after dinner, a few stretches in the morning, 10 minutes of real physical effort, not to look better, but to let trapped restlessness exit your body. Then, pause. At random moments in your day, while washing dishes, walking to your car, sitting in silence, just notice what your mind is doing. Not to fix it, not to judge it, just to see it. That single pause breaks the automatic cycle. Add meditation next. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sit, breathe, return, again and again and again. You are not seeking silence. You are training your mind to stop being afraid of silence. Then comes the hardest part in the modern world. Limit what steals your attention. Not all at once, just a little less scrolling, a little less noise, a little less constant input. Because a mind that is never quiet can never heal. Simplify your environment, your room, your desk, your digital world. Chaos outside always multiplies chaos inside. And finally, give your energy somewhere meaningful to go. Create something, learn something, help someone, build something. Not for attention, not for validation, but because purpose stabilizes the nervous system in a way pleasure never can. When your life has direction, your mind no longer needs to escape. And slowly, without force, without struggle, calm stops being something you chase. It becomes something you live inside. At this point, a quiet voice inside you starts pushing back. I don't have time. Life is already heavy. Work, family, bills, screens, responsibilities. You wake up tired, you go to sleep exhausted. But here's the truth no one tells you gently. The time you think you don't have is the same time your anxiety is already stealing. 5 minutes of awareness doesn't steal your life. It gives it back. You don't need an hour. You don't need perfection. You only need a small opening where change can enter. And that opening is always available. Then another voice says, I'm too restless to meditate. Of course you are. A restless mind is the very reason you need it. Stillness doesn't come before meditation. Stillness comes from meditation. At first, your thoughts will run wild. Your body will want to move. Your mind will fight the silence. That isn't failure. That is the mind showing you its addiction to noise. So don't force silence. Begin with breathing. Inhale slowly. Exhale slowly. Follow just one breath, then another, then another. Restlessness doesn't disappear in one day. It softens layer by layer as your nervous system learns that it is finally safe to stop running. And then comes the most seductive objection of all. Physical pleasure feels good. Why change? Yes, it feels good for a moment. But ask yourself honestly, how long does that calm actually last? Minutes? Hours? By nightfall? Temporary pleasure always collects its fee later, in the form of emptiness, overstimulation, dependence, and deeper stress. Deeper calm asks for patience, but it gives you something pleasure never can: stability. The kind of peace that doesn't vanish when the screen turns off. The kind of quiet that stays even when life gets loud. The kind of strength that doesn't depend on escape. So yes, pleasure is easy, but peace is freedom. And freedom is always worth the effort. Your journey doesn't start someday. It starts now. Real calm is not about leaving life behind. It's about entering life fully, without fear, without running, without depending on escape. When the mind becomes quiet, your relationships soften, your health steadies, your sleep deepens, your reactions lose their sharp edges. You stop surviving, and you begin to live. You don't need a massive transformation today. You only need a small, honest beginning. One breath taken with awareness, one moment of silence instead of distraction, one choice made with presence instead of impulse. That's how restless minds heal, not suddenly, but steadily. And yes, your scattered thoughts can find stillness. Your anxious heart can find rest. Your seeking can finally find home, because the peace you've been searching for outside has always been inside you. If this message helped you even a little, support this new journey by liking this video. Share it with someone who needs peace right now. And subscribe if you want more like this.